Have you ever witnessed someone being dismantled, bit by bit, while the world simply looked on? No intervention, no warning, not even a simple, "Are you holding up?" Just quiet. You kept pouring yourself out, didn't you? You offered them your time, your energy, your unwavering loyalty, your very soul, and in return, they looked right through you as if you were invisible. It's ironic how people crave your warmth, but curse you the moment you stop burning for them. You consistently showed up, believing they'd have your back when your own life went up in flames. But no, they were the ones holding the torches. And so now, you stand in the ruins, surrounded by the remnants of the person you once were. But here's the twist no one anticipates. God's work on you isn't done. Not by a long shot. Because the same individuals who watched you crumble, oh, they're about to witness a different kind of show. They're going to watch you rise. Not gently, not cautiously. You're going to ascend like a storm, and it will shatter their fragile reality. You see, they mistakenly believed that breaking you meant erasing you. That was their fatal error. For genuine souls, pain isn't an eraser. It's a forge. It rebuilds them into something new. You don't revert to who you were. That version of you perished in their fire. God is about to resurrect you from that wreckage, not just repaired, but completely transformed. Stronger, more discerning, laser-focused. Not bitter, just finished with explanations. Finished with begging. Finished with making yourself smaller to fit into spaces you were destined to command. They sneered when you were on your knees. They interpreted your silence as surrender. But silence is never weakness, my friend. It's the sound of divine construction. It's the sound of something formidable taking shape in the shadows. True transformation doesn't happen to the sound of applause. It happens in solitude, in agony, in the sting of betrayal. That's the birthplace of warriors. And you're not broken. You're under construction. Do you honestly think God missed any of this? You think he didn't overhear the whispers behind your back. You think he didn't see who abandoned you when things got tough. Don't fool yourself. He saw every smug look when they assumed you were down for the count. He heard every fabrication they spun to cast you as the villain in their pathetic narratives. And what's his plan? He's going to rebuild you right in front of their faces. This comeback won't be hidden. He's setting the stage. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. Let that sink in. This isn't just karma, it's a divine course correction. God is about to make them eat every single word they uttered when you were at your lowest. You stayed quiet, right? You didn't defend your name. You didn't engage with their rumors. You just kept going, kept breathing. And it was excruciating. But that silence was sacred. It was holy. That silence created the space for God to operate. Because when you fight your own battles, you might win a few. But when you let him fight for you, it's a landslide. You wanted payback, I understand. But sometimes the greatest revenge is to watch a higher power handle what you never could. Sometimes the very people who tried to bury you end up watering the ground from which you grow. The same hands that threw dirt on your name are about to see what happens when God decides your time has come. And it has come. Not because they're remorseful, and not because you have anything to prove, but because your season of suffering is over. Don't you dare think you're weak for crying. Don't think you lost because you were shattered. Even lions get wounded. Even titans fall. But you kept crawling when you had no strength left. You kept loving from an empty heart. You kept hoping when your spirit was exhausted. That's not weakness. That's a level of power they will never comprehend. They expected you to become just like them, cynical, bitter, and hollow. But you refused, you remained authentic, you remained kind, and now your kindness is a blade. Your silence is a fortress. And time is about to humiliate every single person who ever doubted you. They won't see it coming. One day, they'll be scrolling through their life and, bam, there you are, flourishing, radiant, untroubled, and completely out of their reach, and a flood of memories will hit them. Every time they could have chosen you but didn't. Every call they ignored. Every tear they dismissed. And in that moment, it will dawn on them. They didn't just lose a person. They lost a divine gift. Want to know the secret? God doesn't just restore what was. He creates what was always missing. He replaces what you thought you needed with something beyond your wildest dreams. That betrayal wasn't to crush you, it was to unmask them. That silence wasn't a void, it was a preparation. And that pain was your permission slip. Permission to outgrow anyone who only applauded when you were small enough for them to manage. You were never too much. You were just too real, too honest, too threatening to their comfort zone. And now you're becoming everything they swore you'd never be. God isn't just going to elevate you. He's going to put you on display in broad daylight, right in front of everyone who thought you'd remain buried. They will watch, but they will not be able to touch you, because you're not coming back to settle a score. You're coming back because you were never designed to stay down. They didn't break you. No, they activated you. Congratulations. You just weathered the storm that was engineered to destroy you. Now sit back and watch what God does next. They thought the silence meant you were finished. They didn't understand that silence is just the deep breath before the explosion. You weren't defeated. You were upgrading your entire operating system. You were becoming a version of yourself that doesn't plead to be understood, doesn't chase validation, and doesn't quiet its voice to make others feel powerful. No, that version is gone. What's being built now is more astute, more resilient, and hungrier for purpose. Once you've tasted betrayal from those you held closest, it rewires your very being. You stop listening to words and start observing patterns. You stop waiting for apologies and start enforcing boundaries. That is the ultimate revenge. Not shouting, not chaos, but becoming untouchable, emotionally sovereign. And that doesn't happen in a day. It's forged in lonely nights, quiet dawns, and tears shed in private. It's built when you look in the mirror and accept that the only one who has consistently shown up for you is you. They had their moment, didn't they? Played their games, spread their gossip, and vanished, acting as if you were disposable. As if you were just another temporary thrill. But what they never accounted for was the comeback. Not a loud, desperate plea for attention, but a quiet, gathering storm. The most potent revenge isn't getting their attention, it's your complete absence. It's becoming so far removed that even if they wanted to apologize, they couldn't find you. Not because of hatred, but because you've leveled up and left them behind. That's the kind of H they can't shake. Not guilt, but deep, knowing regret. The kind that haunts them in the dead of night, wondering how they let go of someone who would have moved mountains for them while they were busy chasing shadows. It's a regret that sticks because it's not about an event, it's about a choice they made. And by the time they grasp its magnitude, you'll be light years away. That's the poetry of divine justice. It's not a sword, it's a mirror. Did you ever notice how they go silent when you start to heal? They were only interested when you were bleeding. Some people only love you when you're broken enough for them to control. The second you start piecing yourself together, the second you find a piece that doesn't involve them, they get anxious. That's why God doesn't just heal you privately. He exposes them publicly in the process. Every fake compliment, every lie, every subtle manipulation they used to keep you down, it all starts to crumble when you finally stop giving them a reaction. When you stop justifying your existence to people who were determined to misunderstand you. And here's the hard truth sometimes: God allows people to hurt you not to break you, but to awaken you. Because if they hadn't inflicted that pain, you might have stayed. You would have kept pouring your love into people who were draining you. So, he permitted the betrayal. He let them mock you. He let them walk away, not to ruin you, but to liberate you. You are living proof that pain doesn't terminate people, it evolves them. You're not gone. You're just different. And that's even more intimidating, because now you're not chasing, you're attracting. You're not hoping they'll change, you're changing your entire world. Your standards are non-negotiable. Your patience is finite. Your energy is sacred. And anyone who can't meet you at that level is left behind. Watch how tranquil your life becomes when you stop trying to revive dead connections. That's the rebuild. Not just achieving success, but reclaiming your sanity. Not just getting revenge, but finding your freedom. Not just moving on, but leveling up so high that they can't even see you anymore. And trust this, God isn't rebuilding you to send you back to the place that broke you. He's rebuilding you for a destination they could never reach, a place they aren't invited to, where their opinions hold no weight, and where their absence feels like a blessing, not a curse. They thought they humbled you. They thought they crushed you. They thought the silence would be your end. But they severely underestimated the soul of a true warrior. You cannot kill someone who has walked through hell and emerged with a purpose. You cannot bury someone who has learned to grow through solid concrete. You're not soft anymore. You are steel, forged in isolation, sharpened by betrayal, and polished by time. You don't require validation. You are the validation. You are the one that got away. You're the one they'll remember when the party ends and the silence is deafening. And trust me, it will be. And when that day comes, you won't even feel the urge to gloat. You'll be too far ahead, too focused on your mission, too at peace to care about their applause or regret. Because by then, you'll understand. God wasn't trying to teach them a lesson. He was trying to teach Y-O-U-1. That sometimes rejection is divine protection. That being left behind is not a failure, it's an intervention. That the people you thought you couldn't live without are the very people you're better off without. And that pain that nearly ended you, it wasn't your tombstone. It was the foundation for your empire